Happy New Year to you all! I can't wait to see what this year brings! Right now in Cobalt, it's 4:03 p.m. on Friday, January 1st, 2021. There really isn't any news to speak of today. By the way, did anyone tune in for that documentary show that was on TV yesterday? It was all about the history of cricket, and actually it was quite informative. For one thing, I learned that talking about cricket puts me right to sleep. Oh dear. There I go again, prattling on about my personal TV habits. Sorry folks. That's all for now. I hope you all enjoy the loveliest of lovely days. And welcome back to more Animal Crossing New Horizons. So last time, we celebrated New Year's Eve. So this time we're officially in the new year. Let's check our mail. We have, interest deposit. We have a bunch of, sparkling cider because I decided to order a bunch because it's only available until the end of December, not January. I actually don't think I mentioned this, but you can actually drink this. Or maybe not, you can just pose with it. I'm pretty sure in New Leaf you could drink it. Either way, kind of nice and festive. I wonder if anyone has anything special to say to us. Apparently not. Cool. It does feel like villagers have less to say. Also, in the older games, they actually gave you the option to visit people's houses at specific times. That dialogue kind of caught me off guard because it's like, wait a minute, they can't do that in this game. Why is Shari asking if I'm free today? Because that's kind of what you do in the older games, where they're like, hey, anytime after this point, we can hang out in my place or your place, and they don't do that in this game, so that was kind of weird. It would be a nice option to have added back in, though, even though I almost never fulfill those appointments, because they're like, okay, we can hang out in like an hour from now, and usually when I play like New Leaf, or even Wild World, I'm pretty sure that was an option. I almost never actually accepted any of those requests because the amount of time I'd have to just kind of wait around was a little bit ridiculous, so I almost never agreed to that. By the way, it is January, so new bugs, fish, and deep-sea diving creatures, I would imagine, are in rotation, and I assume some things have cycled out. Since we went from a winter month to another winter month, I don't foresee that much really changing. In my case, I actually have everything except the deep-sea creatures, and I don't know if I can actually get either of these yet. So I'll keep you posted on that. But yeah, not much really happening in town. That's actually a little bit disappointing, because in past years, there was a lot going on New Year's Day, in addition to New Year's Eve, but this year seems rather quiet. At least there are special items over here, so that's something. These are available until January 15th. So if you want any of these items, I would recommend trying to pick them up as soon as possible. I assume this one would rotate out every year. I also read somewhere that the hats also cycle out every few years. So that's why, like, I assume Isabelle has a red hat, because you can't actually get that in a different year. It's kind of a shame having to wait that long to get a variant of an item. But oh well, at least the blue hat was this year, because that's the one I would probably want the most. So yeah, I'll order all of these for later, but just to show them off, they also have little descriptions as well, which is kind of cool. Since this game is including items from all around the world, it is kind of neat getting to see the explanations of these items and why they're seasonally appropriate. So yeah, I actually didn't know about this, as an example. Visits each house on the first of the year to bless it. The Katamatsu is like a signpost to welcome him. Neat. And then there's this. Cool. And this. I was wondering, actually, in the preview, why these sticks were bouncing into the air, so that would also explain that. So in terms of actual content, though, nothing really seems to be happening. By the way, I am actually working on renovating this area. I'm trying to decide what to do with this pond specifically because it's kind of in the way, but I'm not sure what to replace it with. So I'm kind of trying to decide what to do with this. I might try to move the path up a little bit and also move the pond itself up a few spaces. That's an option. Maybe have a secondary area like a park over here. I'm not sure. I like being able to just do this little gesture with the glass, basically doing a toast. But yeah, not much is really happening around town. Disappointingly so, I'd say. But oh well, at least the items, like some of these Zodiac items, are still accessible, just not through any special events. Like, I was kind of expecting Isabelle to be in town, but I kind of understand why, because they probably didn't want to blockade the resident services building 2 days in a row, so that makes sense. By the way, there is something to show inside here. Let's check the Nook stop. So, a New Year's greeting from the Nook Mileage program. Happy New Year! We're sorry that the Nook stop was unavailable all day yesterday due to Resident Services holiday closure. To make up for that, we're giving any customers who access the Nook stop today 500 miles. Also, regardless of your access history, your daily access bonus will be set at 7+ days tomorrow. We hope you'll continue to use the Nook stop and the Nook Mileage program in the new year. This actually works for me because of all the time traveling I was doing to rearrange all the houses. I messed up the Nook Miles 7-day streak, so that works really nicely actually. I am going to take out some of these bells, and off-screen I'll probably order all the New Year's items with this money. I am a little bit sad still that they did reduce the number for the interest, because of just it basically giving you so much money that kind of broke the economy. A lot of things really did. I'm just so honored that you chose to spend even a tiny sliver of this special day with me. Let's resolve to spend more time together in the year ahead. Now then. I wasn't expecting special dialogue from Isabelle because no one else gave us special dialogue. So now I need to actually talk to everyone else. So obviously my goal in the new year is to keep playing Animal Crossing whenever there's a new update. The next update is scheduled for sometime in January, so they don't say when. Considering that Pave was in the teaser image, I imagine it'll be late January and include Festival. Hello, hello. Okay, so you don't say anything special. Good to know. So only Isabelle acknowledges the day, apparently. That's really, really weird. Also, by the way, Leaf is in town. I assume he doesn't say anything special either, so I'm just gonna skip through this to see what he has available. Yeah, he's still selling pumpkins even into January, so that's a little bit surprising. I legitimately thought they would go away at some point. So yeah, I think the January update is going to be really interesting because I'm curious to see if they add anything other than Festival or if they try to save the other non-holiday updates for after that, like maybe March. I also wonder how much existing holidays are going to be tweaked and get new items every year, kind of like in Pocket Camp, where they gradually add new content. I kind of hope this game works the same way, where they gradually improve the existing content, like adding slight tweaks and new customization items for the different holidays to incentivize still participating, even though it's obviously been a year, so you've already probably collected a lot of these items. In my case, next year I'll have to keep an eye out for any Maple Leaf related DIY projects, because I wasn't able to get them all because of all the mushrooms. Overlapping events are definitely a problem, so luckily if you're just starting after Christmas, you basically have a little bit of a stretch without any holidays where you can just make a lot of progress on your town without any interruptions of holidays. Like for Bunny Day, they definitely need to tone it down, like maybe a week, or maybe 2 weeks rather than like a whole month. At least it felt like a month. I think it actually was only a couple weeks, but it felt so much longer. Let's see. What else was not great? Yeah, wedding season, I understand a lot of Animal Crossing. I would be willing to bet that a lot of it has to do with... I think I've talked about this a little bit already, but I kind of feel like Animal Crossing is a game that's meant to be played in very small bursts, like maybe 20 to 30 minutes a day. But because of everyone being stuck indoors, because of the world falling apart right when this game launched, everyone played this game for hours upon hours, to the point where they basically exhausted all of the content much sooner than intended. So I think that was a big problem with Animal Crossing, having a different approach with the whole gradual updates rather than big updates, and having most of the established features already in the game at launch. It definitely was one of those weird things where the game came out at a really good time from the standpoint of giving people something to do and a way to communicate, and basically play a game together, but the problem is it also meant that people burnt out on it a lot faster because of the change to an evergreen, almost games as a service style. I kind of find it really fascinating that if you consider this a game as a service type game, that this technically is the best one of 2020, because it's like, I feel like this game still did get better reception and overall content drops faster than something like Marvel's Avengers, which is really ironic given how hyped that was. I still haven't played it. I played the beta and it was rather bland, so I haven't invested in the full game. Yeah, it just didn't really hook me, so I never bothered with the full game, even though it seemed adequate. But that game definitely had issues with a lot of people dropping out really fast. So yeah, it is kind of weird to me how a lot of times when Nintendo does games as a service, how even though they're slightly underwhelming in a lot of ways because they're a little bit lacking in content at launch and things have to be gradually added back in, their examples still tend to go over better than most of the industries. Like, I remember Splatoon 2 as an example kind of used that same model as this game of like every month or two they'd add in like a new level for the online and like new weapons and gear, and occasionally they'd have really big content updates. So I think that'll happen next year for Animal Crossing, where we get a more sizable update, maybe around summer. But like in 2017, it was kind of weird to me how like the actually really hyped games as a service launches were rather underwhelming compared to like a fairly bare bones effort by Splatoon 2. Games like Star Wars Battlefront 2 really fell flat in terms of that. And even to this day, I'm still slightly bitter about that game for reasons that I might try to make a video on, because I have a lot of explanations of why I have issues with it, and it's not because of the rough launch, because they did manage to salvage it. It's mostly the post-launch that really fell apart. But that's really off topic from Animal Crossing. The point is, this particular model also, I think, would have worked better in a non-pandemic year where the development team could also devote more time to it. So much has been data mined, and I seriously wonder how much of the data mined content is going to just sit there unfinished until things start to calm down, because maybe they're just adding in smaller things and prioritizing other things because they don't have that many people working on it. So like, if you have a choice between adding in gyroids and Christmas, I think you would prioritize Christmas because it's seasonal. But the gyroids should still be added back in, but it's probably just not that much of a priority because it's not on as tight of a time schedule as something like a holiday. So I am hoping things like that get back into this game, even though I'm not even a big fan of gyroids, but it would be nice to have them back for the people who do like them. But yeah, I feel like I am getting really off track. Frankly, I was expecting more from New Year's Day, because past games did more on New Year's Day. Animal Crossing on GameCube still has the best New Year's Day because of the whole wishing well. I'm pretty sure there's stuff you can do there. But yeah, by comparison, this is pretty straightforward, and not a whole lot going on, which is kind of a shame. Again, there's a lot that this game needs to do to rise to the level of a game like New Leaf, or, the original even. And I think a lot of it is nostalgia, growing up with GameCube and Wild World. Obviously, I tend to view those games a little bit differently, because of just having a different mindset, like not being in a global pandemic when playing those games might have helped me to enjoy this a little bit more. But again, I feel like I'm getting exceedingly off track, so I am going to call it here. I hope everyone has a good first day of the year though, and next time we'll be checking in whenever the new update launches. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more Animal Crossing New Horizons.